5 million donuts. Every single day. 40-plus countries. One of the most recognized brands in American food. But here is something that might surprise you. Most people have never seen one made. They've seen the box, the hot now light, the line out the door. They've eaten the donut. Most just don't know what produced it. What happens between a bag of dry mix and that glaze waterfall is a system so specific, so locked down. Krispy Kreme won't let journalists photograph the machine at its center, won't describe it either. No images, no specs, no exceptions. One machine, you're about to see it. New Orleans, 1933. A French pastry chef named Joe Lebeau was barely surviving the Depression. He had one asset left, a yeast-raised donut recipe, and a name Krispy Kreme. He sold both to Ishmael Armstrong, handwritten on a slip of paper, signed over for cash. Armstrong passed the recipe to his nephew, Vernon Rudolph. Rudolph was 18. Rudolph started wholesaling to grocery stores in Nashville. It worked. But he wanted his own shop. He had a strange reason for choosing Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Camel cigarettes were headquartered there. His logic: if one city could support a brand that size, it could support his too. So in 1937, he arrived with 2 partners and a Pontiac. Backseat stripped clean out, same modification bootleggers in the region used to haul liquor. $25 between them. Rent took all of it, nothing left. He talked a nearby grocer into credit, just a handshake, nothing on paper. The plan was wholesale only. No storefront, no walk-ins. But it was July, and hot donuts frying inside pushed a smell out into the street. Pedestrians kept stopping, kept knocking. Rudolph cut a hole in the wall and started selling right off the line. That hole became the first Krispy Kreme store. Nobody planned it. The smell made the decision. Within a week, the line stretched down the block. Here's what happens inside. Every donut starts the same way. A bag of dry mix, water, yeast. That's the entire ingredient list. No artificial flavors, no preservatives, no emulsifiers. The mix arrives from Winston-Salem, one central facility. Same formula for every location on Earth. One bag opens into a spiral mixer. Workers add water in a measured pour. The hook attachment pulls and folds. Within minutes, the dough starts to puff. Swells slightly as it turns. 3 minutes in, it pulls away from the sides clean. Smooth, elastic, ready. A worker lifts a piece and stretches it between 2 fingers. Holds without tearing. That's the signal, ready to shape. The dough drops into a hopper, ready to shape. The hopper feeds the extruder. Krispy Kreme won't photograph it, won't license it, won't describe it. It uses pressurized air to force dough through a ring-shaped cutter. One cylindrical blade around another. No dough is punched out, no waste. The ring forms directly. There's no real hole in a Krispy Kreme donut. Raw rings ride a conveyor into the proof box. Tall glass case. Internal belt moves trays up and down in a zigzag. Controlled heat, controlled humidity. The rings sit and rise, visibly. You can watch it happen through the glass. 15 to 20 minutes inside. Each one roughly doubles in size. The surface dries slightly, just enough to hold shape going into the oil. Proofed donuts float into a bath of vegetable shortening. 355 to 360 degrees Fahrenheit. A conveyor rides them through. One side fries. Automatic flipper, other side fries. 90 seconds per side. Total. The shortening fries cleaner than liquid oil, less greasy coming out. Exterior sets crisp, pale gold. Then, the glaze waterfall. A pump draws liquid glaze from a reservoir. It releases in a continuous curtain. Every donut passes beneath at the same speed. Same coverage. Every time. Excess drips back and recirculates, nothing wasted. A worker checks the curtain between batches. Glaze temperature roughly 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Warm enough to flow, cool enough to set on contact. Before the 1960s, every donut was hand-dipped into a galvanized wash tub. Rudolph's engineers built the waterfall. It became the centerpiece of the theater. Donuts for delivery ride a cooling belt. Roughly 40 minutes. Glaze sets, they cool before packing. But donuts sold in-store when the hot now light is on skip cooling entirely. Straight from the waterfall to you. 3 ingredients. 1 secret machine, a curtain of glaze. That's it. Most donuts in a grocery store are cake donuts. Batter-based, no yeast, no proofing. Mixed and fried in one step. The original glazed is something else. Kneaded, rested, proofed. Fries in shortening instead of oil. Lighter, less greasy. The glaze sits differently. Closer to bread than anything Dunkin' makes. The shaping step makes this visible. Other shops use a die cutter, a metal ring that punches out the center. The leftover disc becomes a separate product. Dunkin' sells them as munchkins. Krispy Kreme has no leftover discs. The extruder forms the ring with pressurized air. No punch, no scrap. In 1997, Krispy Kreme donated the Ring King Jr. to the Smithsonian, National Archive status, for a donut machine. The archivist called it a milestone in American food standardization. The same extruder nobody can photograph now sits in the National Museum of American History. And here's the part that changes everything. The thing that built Krispy Kreme is the same thing that limits it: freshness. You can't ship a hot now donut. You can't stockpile it. Every location needs its own line, its own radius, its own timing. The model that made the brand impossible to fake also made it impossible to scale like other fast food. In 2025, Krispy Kreme ended a partnership placing donuts in roughly 2,400 McDonald's locations. Termination cost $28.9 million. It was logistics, daily delivery, that many locations. Didn't pencil out. Krispy Kreme shares dropped roughly 73%. The Hot Now model has a ceiling. Nobody's moved it yet. That pan-fried trick going viral right now. Original glazed in a dry skillet over medium-high heat until the glaze cracks and caramelizes. Kellycha's video passed 17 million views. Krispy Kreme called it the most delicious hack in history. That response tells you something. The donut adapts. It was built to. The glaze is thin enough to blister. The dough is open enough to absorb. That Hot Now sign most people read as a promotion. It's a production signal. On when donuts come off the line, off when the batch is gone, goes back to 1937. When the smell drifted into the street, pedestrians started knocking. Rudolph didn't invent a donut. He invented a moment. There's a vault in Winston-Salem where the recipe lives. That's not what Krispy Kreme is protecting. The dough has been reverse engineered. The barrier isn't the recipe, it's the system, the extruder, the proof box, the glaze waterfall, the delivery radius, the timing. You can know every ingredient, still can't replicate it. The system is the secret, not the ingredients. $25 and a hole in a wall, 5 million donuts a day, the recipe's in the vault, the light's still on. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.